finally located those stinking keys he'd been searching all over for the past 10 minutes. At last, we buckled ourselves into the mothership, and Papu began to guide the vehicle northward with sure hands. We sang and joked and quoted movies as he expertly piloted the craft along the highway. Over the years, what I've come to realize is that the difference between a runner and a jogger is that a jogger still has control of his life. A scant hour after we had left our home in San Francisco, I was already stirring, my initial contentment replaced by a familiar restlessness. "Pull over," I said. Having anticipated the inevitable, I was already dressed in my running gear. At the first available turnout, Dad guided the mothership off the road. We had perfected our routine on many past family road trips. Sometimes I would leave home on foot before the family, and they'd pick me up along the roadside a few hours later. Other days, I would wait until we reached our destination and then take flight. Once in a while, I would run all night and meet them in the morning. Today, the formula was pretty simple. I'd run up the highway while they went shopping for supplies, secured our campsite, and prepared a gourmet lunch. I gave Alexandria and Nicholas each a quick peck on the cheek while dashing toward the exit. I squeezed my mom's hand, embraced Julie, and saluted my dad. "See you guys in a bit," I said, and I was out the door. Today, I would cover 26 or 27 miles, roughly a marathon. The ultimate challenge for many runners, this distance represented a typical weekend-long run for me. Sometimes I would run a marathon on Saturday and another on Sunday. I had run 200 miles non-stop more than once, and I was completing several 100-mile races in extreme environments each year, so a leisurely run of just a fraction of that length wouldn't take much out of me. I could just enjoy the hypnotic cycle of my breathing, the rhythmic contractions of my muscles, and the splendor of the day. It was a typically perfect Napa Valley winter morning, not a cloud in the sky, the air dry and neither cool nor warm, a gentle breeze refreshing my exposed skin. There were two pieces of mandatory equipment I always carried with me on these runs, a cell phone and a credit card. 3 hours into my workout, the phone rang. "Hey, hon, we forgot to get A convoy of semis roared by, drowning out the rest of her sentence. I stuck a finger in one ear and pressed the phone against the other. "Say again?" "We forgot to get Parmesan. Cheese." "Oh." "Could you stop and grab some on the way?" "Sure thing." When I sauntered into the campsite some 90 minutes later, the others were just finishing their preparations. It was a beautiful spread of fresh pasta, sourdough bread, Caesar salad, vine-ripe melon, and cookies hot from the microwave. The mothership didn't have a conventional oven, so they improvised. They had it all set up outside on a picnic table. "Did you get the Parmesan?" Alexandria asked. "Darn it, I knew I forgot something," I said, slapping my forehead. "Dad," my daughter scolded smilingly, then dashed behind me and reached into the running pack on my back. She had me totally figured out. After lunch, we took a long hike. My thoughts wandered in a familiar direction as we picked our way along a narrow trail bordered by a row of trees. These family road trips were like a taste of heaven for me. They had it all: my favorite people, adventure, freedom, and plenty of opportunities to run great distances. We made 4 or 5 such trips each year, usually within California, but some had extended as far as Oregon and Colorado. Other times, the whole family would fly to a more distant state where we would rent an RV and enjoy the same mix of camping, sightseeing, and, for me, running. On each of these jaunts, I sooner or later found myself wishing it could last longer and extend farther. But this time, I went a step beyond the usual wishing. I got a clear picture of what this perfect vacation could look like. One thing that I truly live for is challenging myself to complete epic tests of endurance that sound totally impossible. Always searching for a new challenge to embark upon, my imagination now suddenly dreamed up the quest of attempting to run a marathon in each of the 50 United States in only 50 days. Every day would be just like this one, except in a different place with a new landscape and a new local culture. It would be a test of endurance for the whole family, with all-night drives of hundreds of miles punctuated by my solo trots of 26.2. The kids and my folks could join me for short segments along the way, as they sometimes did. Even Julie could participate, although she typically runs only when being chased. My mind was a whirl with possibilities.